Welcome to Kazi Big Boy Trev News segment. We give you a lowdown of what's happening in the world of motoring. So today we jump all the way to Stuttgart, Germany, where Mercedes-Benz have just unveiled the EQE electric business saloon. Now, in the Mercedes-Benz nomenclature, EQ stands for electric power, and then the last letter, the C, corresponds with the condition of the car. So, for example, EQC would correspond to the C class, EQE with the A class, EQS with the S class. So, 2019 we had a chance to actually see the EQS vision at the Frankfurt Motor Show, and we loved it. Brand new concept, very new design. But now we do have this brand new EQE, which is a business saloon, and it's going to be fully electric. Now, of course, it has a range of power derivatives. When I say power derivatives, it's actually powered by a battery. So from the lowest, which is actually at 288 horsepower, 530 newton meters of torque, battery that produces about 60 kilowatts of charge, gives you about 300 kilometers of range. Then, of course, you go all the way to the biggest of the bunch, which is a 600 horsepower and 850 newton meters of torque, with the EQES, which is the high performance version of this particular sedan. When you step inside, again, a lot of stunning stuff. You have this massive hyper screen based on the MBUX that we covered on Kazi Big Boy Trev in 2019. Again, that hyper screen just gives you good view of what's happening in the car. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay support. You do have quite a number of technology features as well. You're able to change the settings, see the range of the car, and of course just give you a brilliant viewing screen for your multimedia interface. Sits for people, and of course plenty of technologies that will help you keep safe on the road, from stability control, blind spot assist. It's got tons and tons of tech, and I'm looking forward to seeing it very, very soon. So question is, do you reckon Mercedes-Benz have gone the extra mile to ensure that they are carrying on the EQ game, the electricity game, to the business side? So that your thoughts are seen on the social media handles. Welcome to Kazi Big Boy Trev social media segment. We give you a chance to say what you want to say about this show. We dive straight into our YouTube channel. In case you do not know our YouTube channel, it's CBBT_TV. Make sure you check us out immediately after the show ends and be able to see whatever we've covered. We've got over 100 episodes and still going. So give us your comments on what you think about the show. So we dive straight. Last week we actually reviewed the Land Rover Discovery for 2022, and I can tell you plenty of comments. We go straight into YouTube, and the first comment is a guy called The Bin. One of my finest car reviewers. Nikiwa shule juu nimemaliza shule 1st April. Gazeti ya kila Wednesday pale Standard ni full of Big Boy Trev. Napenda kazi yako Trev. I love your work, manze. Big up. Hope to meet you one day. Well, thank you so much for the kind words. I do appreciate, and I'm humbled that I'm able to give you all this content and inspire you to do more. Next person would be a guy called Eric Chama. Now he says, great car reviewer in 254 CBBT to the world. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And the last one, there's a guy called Samuel O. He says the Defender is definitely more capable of product than the Discovery. Well, many opinions, but we do value them. So thank you so much. So we value your feedback. So if you have any questions, comments, or queries, do not hesitate to write to us as seen on the social media handles, and we'll give you the feedback next week. But before we leave, the next review is going to be of an amazing car that we are reviewing on Kazi Big Boy Trev. Introducing to you the Range Rover Sport SVR Black Edition. Welcome to another special edition of Kazi Big Boy Trev. I'm Big Boy Trev, and today I am right next to a very special guest on this show. So, if you are a musician, actor, anybody who's in the public eye, and you're looking for something that is very different, that speaks volumes about your image, that you want power, performance, the best of both worlds, then stay tuned, because I'm going to give you lowdown to this particular vehicle. This is the Range Rover Sport SVR, the most powerful Range Rover you can ever get. And this one is not just a standard SVR. This is called the Midnight Train Edition. So Sauti So, Bien, chairman wa Kihara Association, you better listen to this, because this particular vehicle, I think, speaks volumes about you as a person. If you're somebody who's looking and you're very keen on your image, and you want something that is aggressive, loud, shouty, and will definitely kick some serious ass on the road, then this one perhaps is the car for you. So stay tuned. I'm going to give you a lowdown on what the car is all about, how special it is, give you the performance stats, because this is a performance vehicle, and of course give you the value for money preposition. So stay tuned on Kazi Big Boy Trev. Today on Kazi Big Boy Trev, it's all about the Range Rover Sport. But not any other Range Rover Sport. This is the Range Rover Sport SVR, Special Vehicle Operations, and I can tell it's been enhanced to give you that performance that you so desire. We take a look at this particular vehicle by taking a look at the front profile, and I can tell you, my oh my, it looks butch, it looks aggressive, and of course it still has that typical Land Rover hallmark. So you have a clamshell bonnet, and of course a floating roof line, and of course the bumper and the logo of the Land Rover emblazoned on the grille. Speaking about the grille as well, it is slated again. You can also have an option where it has a honeycomb mesh that also corresponds to the lower air dam, just to give this car that sporting look and feel. It is color coded as well, together with the rims, just to give this car the je ne sais quoi that we keep on talking about on cars with big boy drive. Now, obviously, as you can see on the front air dam, there's plenty of air vents coming in through to allow the cooling of the engine. Remember, this particular engine is a 5-liter V8 producing 575 horsepower. That is just about amazing, and I'm going to sample it much later. Now let's move to the side profile again. You can see the subtle design cues running out from the clamshell bonnet. Now this line stretches all the way from the front fender to the lower door seals, all the way to the rear third, giving this car that butch feel. And as well, the flaring wheel arcs, both front and rear, again gives this car that aggressiveness. And of course, to top it up, we do have 22-inch rims that comes as standard in this particular car. Very wide Michelin Sport Pro tires, all-terrain, just to give that grip that you so desire if you're pushing the vehicle through and through. Now let's move to the back and have a look. This is where all the convergence happens. The lines, the steadiness comes all the way to the back, and of course you can see the wraparound tail lamps again with signature DRL, just to give this car that unique look when you're following it behind. And of course you have the SVR badge that tells you this one is no laughing matter. And of course the two exhausts, actually two twin exhausts, so left and right do have those twin exhausts to show you that this car has a lot of power to boot. But the question is, how good is the cabin? Does it have that subtle notes that you have when you're driving an SVR? Let's step inside and have a look at the Range Rover SVR Black Edition. Now back to this particular review, the highlight of this dashboard is the Touch Pro dual screen setup that Jaguar Land Rover put in this particular vehicle. We've probably seen that in the Velar, and now it's on the Range Rover Sport. So what makes it different? So obviously the top part of the screen is a multimedia system. Basically it houses the navigation system, which is standard in this particular vehicle. So if you want to go to a show and you don't want to get lost, you can just quickly key in the location of the show and you'll be able to get inside. Number two, you can play music via Bluetooth, USB, even stream via different apps. So I'm going to do that right now. And because this is a car that has a good sound system, I've just paired my phone with this system, and let's play the song.
So what's the point of saying no when you wanna get high? And don't you wanna get high?
Listen to that.
I love getting high. Now everybody get high. Now everybody get high. Yeah. We tend to get afraid when we older, but I learned to take the pain like a soldier. Muhammad Ali on the mic, and if.
All right, as you all know, that is Calligraph John's new song. And I can tell you, he can enjoy, and you can enjoy the music of this car because it's got Meridian surround sound system. You've got 825 watts of raw power, so the basses, the trebles. If you're listening to hip hop or any kind of genre, you're able to enjoy the music courtesy of this particular Meridian audio system. And it's standard. There are no big speakers at the boot. Like, this is box standard sound from Range Rover. Again, playing music via Bluetooth connectivity. You can either stream it also using some of the excerpts that are here. So USB port standard, you can download Spotify and listen to music via this system. Now it also supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard as well. So basically this one becomes an extension of your phone, and you're able to make calls. When you're calling your manager to book a show, you can call him while you're driving. You're able to do quite a number of things as well. Book meetings, send text messages, say hi to your fans via Bluetooth streaming, and of course it has 4G connectivity and Wi-Fi hotspot for your entourage as you're driving this Range Rover Sport. Now obviously right below it you have the second part. It's a vehicle dynamic screen. Basically gives you the ability to control the vehicle's main systems. So when I say main systems, it means terrain response. How does this car behave on tarmac and off-road? So you're able to control terrain response. You're able to adjust even the climate control, your seats. In fact, this particular vehicle I think has heated seating and cooling. So I'll press that, and it will tell you can do that. So basically you can switch on and cool your seats or heat the seats depending on the weather. If you're doing a show in a very cold area, crank up the seat becomes hot. If you're going to Mombasa and need that back to be cooled, again, very possible. Vehicle dynamics as well. Terrain response system is basically it allows you to control the 4x4 hardware, making you an off-road expert. So it doesn't matter if the show is in the farthest of places, you'll be able to do that with the Range Rover Sport SVR Midnight Edition. Of course, if you love power and on tarmac, then you have the track mode. So basically it's dynamic mode, and you'll be able to literally change the settings. The vehicle will go lower, the steering becomes sharper, the throttle also as well. It becomes a sports car at your command. Too much power, too much feel, and you probably enjoy it, but that's a story for another time. Climate control dual zone, so the front driver and passenger, they have their own settings, and also the rear passengers as well, so everybody feels cool, calm and collected during long drives. And then of course you have this panoramic moonroof that extends all the way to the back, so allowing light to get into this particular cabin. Now, where the gearbox is, this is a traditional joy shifter. Again, you're able to pre-select the different gears and do sport mode. I'm going to show you how much power this car has. And then you do have the terrain response system that is right here. If you press auto, it engages the terrain response 2 system, which basically takes over the commanding of the car when it comes to off-road settings. So that's another gibberish. We're going to talk about it later. You don't have a traditional handbrake, but you have an electronic park brake. Plenty of space where you can keep your drinks, your water and stuff. And then you have an optional storage area where you can actually have a cooler box installed for you, just standard. And of course USB ports that one, fast charge, 2, you can even have a micro SD slot right here that you can use to do your music on the multimedia interface. Now, I've said too much. Driver's side, most importantly, look at the steering wheel, man. This steering looks bespoke, so same red color with the black stitching. It's perforated, and of course the main instrument binnacle, 11.1 inches, fully color, fully touch display that shows you whatever's happening in the car. So you have this traditional speedometer and a tachometer on the right hand side, and the sub dials as well for temperature and fuel. In between, will give you all the details about the car, what's happening. It will give you the range, the time of service that this car is required to do. It will tell you what to do in case of an emergency. You can even play your music and see what's playing right there, or even switch the menu for maps as well. Plus, you have heads-up display as standard in this particular vehicle. I mean, it looks legit. Even the steering as well. Look at this 3-spoke. You've got this carbon fiber trim with the SVR logo right here. Tactile buttons on the left and the right hand side, and of course devil horns. These are paddle shifters to pre-select gears as you thrash this car and get 575 horsepower on the 4 wheels quite easily. So that is just the nitty-gritty of this particular car. But in terms of comfort, as you can see, Big Boy is very comfortable, and I'm sure Calligraph Jones will also be very comfortable because yes, they are big men. Bucket seats is standard. Of course, you do have some very nice diamond stitching, perforated leather, and of course it just feels very, very premium. You'll be very, I mean, it has even lumbar support. Yeah.
Importance of brake bleeding and adjustment. They say power is nothing without control, and true to that saying, having a functioning and well-maintained braking system is vital for the safety of you and your passengers. Generally speaking, brake systems are designed to slow down the momentum of your vehicle with the least amount of effort. The power exerted to the brake fluid is multiplied 25 times the amount of corresponding engine power by the master cylinder to the wheel discs and drums. Running such high-pressure systems requires continuous maintenance and checking to ensure that the brakes operate at optimum levels at any given time. The brake discs and drums use frictional pads that get in contact with these surfaces and tend to wear out on an average of 6 to 8 months depending on use. Every year, as you do your major service, the mechanic inspects and checks whether there are any leakages in the braking system plus wear and tear of the discs and drums. Always ensure that you purchase genuine brake pads from reputable dealers, as second-hand filled pads or non-genuine pads increase the risk of brake failure when you need it the most. Once pads are fixed, the mechanic will adjust the position of the rotor piston so that they can sit firmly on the pad.
Alright, we are at the back seat of the Range Rover Sport SVR, and it's not a big Range Rover, but it's got plenty of space. As you can see, I'm 6'1", big boy, loves his big toys. And there's plenty of space here. So if I don't want to feel like driving, I want to be carried around, then I'd sit at the back, preferably back left. But again, there's plenty of space. Of course, even with this panoramic roof on, there's still a lot of headroom. So anybody who's 6'1" and lower will probably enjoy their time at the back of the Range Rover Sport. Again, one thing I do love about the Range Rover family is the fact that there's no hump here. So 3 people can sit here abreast quite easily. But if it's only 2 people, then you can retract this armrest and you can have a very comfortable journey. And of course, it also reveals cup holders with some grips to prevent the things from falling away, and actually you can actually put your cell phone here for a charger. In terms of safety, the safety component at the back, of course, you have Isofix anchors as standard to secure the baby seat firmly on those anchors to prevent them from rolling over during an accident. But also everybody gets 3-point seat belts as standard. These are bucket seats as well, so they're very comfortable. And you have 6 airbags that run across the cabin, so 2 at the front, 2 on the seat, and then you have these curtain airbags that extend all the way to the back to prevent head and thorax injuries, making you very safe while in the Range Rover Sport. In terms of amenities at the back, obviously you have dual zone climate control, then you have a full-size charge socket. You can bring in your AC socket adapter and charge anything here. And then obviously you have USB ports to charge your phones, and another cigarette lighter where you can do a 12-volt to charge your device. Again, that's very important. What I've not seen is somewhere to place your phone or documents at the back, but I guess this is a Range Rover Sport. You don't need documents for what? This is a car for calligraph tunes. You enjoy the full power and potential and comfort of this particular vehicle. But let's see what you can carry the boot and have a look at the boot space of the Range Rover Sport SVR. Alright, moving over to the boot area, we'll touch this soft touch button. Power assisted tailgate reveals plenty of space. Now this particular vehicle has the boot space of roughly 550 liters of boot space. You can carry 5 large suitcases here, or if you're Kenyan, you can carry a bit of bunias and groceries right there when you're traveling in this country. But if you're Calligraph Jones and you need to travel to the States, you need to carry your suitcases and fit properly well. Even if you have gear, like here you have the decks, the gear, you will fit this in your car quite easily. And of course, you have the tonneau cover to prevent prying eyes from looking what's over there. Obviously, underneath you have a parcel shape that reveals full-size tire, spare tire, and of course it's got all the amenities, so your jack, your towing hook, etc. Now, to prevent things from moving around, you have tie-down hooks, which come standard, and you have a 12-volt socket right there to charge your device. If you have a cooler box or a fridge, you're able to plug it in there, and of course traverse a beautiful country of Kenya. But listen, I have been skimming through this thing so fast because I want to get behind the wheel, because that is where everything matters. 575 horsepower, 680 Newton meters from the 5-liter V8 supercharged, courtesy of Jaguar Land Rover. Are you ready to feel the heat of the Range Rover Sport SVR midnight train? Let's find out. So guys, you've seen from the walk around and the design perspective the quality of the Range Rover Sport. This is the SVR Midnight Train Edition, so highly customizable to your taste and preference. So Mr. Calligraph Jones, still for us to feel the power of this thing. Just the way you make your wrap, you flow very fast. So it's got a very potent 5-liter V8 supercharged that produces 575 horsepower and 680 Newton meters of torque. Now the power is sent to the 4 wheels courtesy of a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, and it's paired to terrain response and all the modes. So do you think this thing has a lot of power? I'm just going to floor it right now. Wow, I can tell you, everybody, this car feels like a rocket. So 0 to 100 in an estimated time of 4.5 seconds, and this is a beast. It's 2.5 tons, and of course the top speed limited to 155 miles an hour. Some delimited to about 160 miles an hour, so roughly about 300 kilometers an hour, but that is just enough for you. So you can feel the power of this particular vehicle. And of course, this is a Range Rover Sport. It's primarily tuned for so many things. So I'm going to floor it down now. I'm in a neighborhood, and I'm sure I've woken up all the dogs and the alarms are ringing right here in Johannesburg. So the power feels good. It feels ridiculously very comfortable, and of course, because this is a truck biased sort of SUV, they managed to get the best of both worlds. It can still do proper off-roading and still be able to handle on the track. So how does it handle its weight? The suspension, all-round air suspension, but of course you got double wishbones that are tuned to be track specific, camber in and out just to make sure the car sits very flat. And of course the air suspension lowers at a speed of 40 kilometers an hour to normal ride height if it was placed on off-road height. Then it goes even further down when you hit 120 kilometers an hour, so it goes into sport mode. It goes lower, so you have lower center of gravity, and of course the active sway bars also helps to maintain composure on sharp curves. So independent rear suspension, double wishbones, the recipe is pure happiness. Now they say there is no power without control, so the stopping power of this particular vehicle is amazing. 6-port calipers at the front and 4-port at the rear ensure that you're able to stop at a safe distance. And not only that, it's coupled with quite a number of technology gizmos, so from anti-lock braking system, ABS, that is EBD as well, and of course stability control to keep you in check in case you run out of talent. But in case all hell breaks loose, then you can rely on the multiple airbags, the 6 spread across the cabin, and of course the 5-star rated safety cell just removes the power of the impact away from the cabin to ensure that you and your family are safe and sound. So this vehicle, I think Calligraph Jones would love it. It's a car that perhaps speaks volumes about his rapping style. It's powerful, it's got character. I can tell you for a fact it sets the bar. But can he do a little bit of off-roading? We're going to find out right now as we jump off the road and get onto the highway. But we're going to attempt a few things on the skid cone. So we're going to do an acceleration test, we're going to do a deceleration test, quarter mile, and yeah, get off and do some off-roading before we do value for money.